character and integrity. When we hear about these two words, character and integrity, we always try to take one over the other. We'll stand with character, we'll stand with integrity, and we don't realize that you need one for the other. Now, let's see what the word character means. The word character means feature and traits that forms the individual nature, moral or ethical qualities such as honesty, courage, patience, strength. These are your characteristics. Now, when we look at the word integrity, we can understand that integrity means the state of being whole, entire, undiminished. Now, you can't have integrity unless you have character, because in the definition also of character is the word integrity. So if you want to combine the two words, you will understand that character integrity simply meaning the features and the traits that form your nature to make you whole. Think about that. The feature, the traits that form your nature to make you whole. The things that you consider also help you to remember this is, who are you? What have you done? Who and what can you accomplish? Who and what can you be? Nathaniel Hawthorne said it best this way: no man can for any consideration time wear one face to himself and another to a multitude, while finally getting bewildered as which one is true. How can you be one thing to one person, one thing to another person? Many times you'll play this two-faced character, and before you know it, you forgot who you really were. So let's think about this. How is your character and your integrity shaped? Your character and your integrity is shaped by your development and the revealing of yourself. Your development and the revealing of yourself. Some psychologists would say it's nature versus nurture. Nurture is the concept of everything around you causing your development. Nature is that which is in you, your genetics. So let's look at the concept of nurture or your development. Your development is based upon a secondary source of learning. The secondary source of learning can be family, it can be communities, it can be your educational and your spiritual teachings. This is what shapes your character. It's shaped by what your family says about you. It's shaped by what the community says about you. It's shaped by what the school system says about you. It's shaped even by your religious upbringing. Now, one thing about these lessons can be productive or they can be destructive. How can they be productive and how can they be destructive? Let's look at one side of the spectrum. If you have some what's considered God-fearing parents, they like to hop on the scripture which says, raise up a child in a way that he or she may go, that when they are old, they will not depart from it. That simply means raising them in the principles in which God has taught them, that they, when they are old, they'll know how to walk thereby. They'll remember the important things. For example, how to take care of themselves, how to live, how to balance their life, how to be somebody productive. Now, how can this lesson be destructive? This lesson can be destructive simply by this: rehearsed principles that were taught to them that they passed on to you. What do you mean by rehearsed principles? Simply, if there was a story of this young lad who went to their mother because their mother was baking a specific cake for them, and they asked their mother about the ingredients in the cake. Why did you add this? Why did you add this? Why did you add that? Why did you add that? And the mother said to her, I did it this way because I was taught to do it this way. Go ask grandma why we do it this way. So the little girl went and asked grandma and said, Grandma, why do we make this and this and this and this and put this into the cake? Grandma said, we do this because I was taught to do it this way. Go ask great grandma. Now, great grandma was still alive. Granddaughter went and said, great grandma, why do we make this meal this way? Grandma said we do it like this because she was taught. Mom said she do it like this because she was taught. And they all said, come ask you. So you tell us, why do we do it the way we do it? Now the answer will shock you. Great grandma said, I only did it this way because I was only able to afford this. I couldn't afford the other necessities to be put in it. So I made do with what I had. And nobody else really knew the difference. Are you telling me that there are some rehearsed lessons that we take and we use and really don't understand why we have them, but just because it was passed down to us, we felt this is what it is supposed to be? There have been some lessons that have been passed down to you, and you never really understood why, but you just thought this is what it had to be. Let's use for an example. Our father was an alcoholic. My grandfather was an alcoholic. Found out my great-grandfather was an alcoholic. So now, because of this is what I've seen, this is what I've noticed, this is what I've been around and introduced to, does that mean I have to be an alcoholic as well? Does that mean I have to follow the same footsteps? Because that's all I know. Sometimes, by that being all you know, can be a dangerous thing. And because others have not decided to break the cycle in which that they are traveling down, they just settled for what they were going through. That's how come it can be destructive. Not only that, but you've been raised in a hurtful environment. And because you've been raised in a hurtful environment, hurt people hurt other people. Now, is that saying that you're a bad individual? No, it's not. It simply says that the effects of your development was exposed in unbelievable behavior. Does that mean you are a bad person? Absolutely not. Can you change? Yes, you can. But secondary sources affects your development. It affects your character. And because of these secondary sources, you start to think and to believe and to feel that maybe this is the road you need to go down. Maybe this is the path that you need to take. Now, we've talked about the secondary sources of your development. Let's talk about the primary source of your development. I said it's the revealing of your inner self. The revealing of your inner self. What do you mean by the revealing of your inner self? Some things about you will never be told to you until it's revealed in you. You have never known you did not like chocolate until you ate it. You felt you don't look good in blue. You never knew that before until you decided to put the outfit on. Certain things are revealed to you, and then you'll be able to come to the conclusion of, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is who I am, this is who I'm not, because it's revealed in you. Now, when it's revealed into you, your primary resource depends on your secondary source. What does that mean? You look for your secondary sources to validate your primary. How do you look for validation? Simple. If you come to the conclusion of yourself that you don't like this, and you don't want to do this, and you don't want to do this, you don't want to do this, if you're not too sure about it yourself, you will come across a family member, a community member, the educational system, or even the spiritual learning center. And if it comes contrary to what you felt, because you're a little unsure yourself about it, you would take their perception and use it as yours. You would take their definition and apply it for you. Now, and instead of fully understanding who you are, you have labeled yourself with other people's labels. You now have become designed by somebody else, when in fact you was a designer original. So, Jamal, what are you saying to me? Your character and your integrity is based upon you. Your character and your integrity is not based upon your achievements, not based upon your awards, not based upon your credentials. Your character and your integrity is based upon what was revealed about you and undergirded by what you found out in the things that you have experienced. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? You found out that you were patient, and you have patience, and you never realized how much patience you had until you had put in experiments. What do you mean? You didn't realize how patient you were until you were babysitting 3 or 4 kids. Instead of being a hothead and being angry and trying to get and chastise and abuse the kids, what did you do? You ended up playing with them. You made it comfortable for them. Everything they did not get on your nerve, nor did it annoy you. What did it do? It showed that you had patience for someone that's as not strong or as carrying the same intellectual capacity of you. You was able to deal with them. You was able to handle them and treat them with care. Now, how do you embrace your character and your integrity? You embrace it by self-esteem. How do you feel about yourself? Self-esteem. Your self-esteem is not based upon other people. Self-esteem is based upon yourself. Not only having self-esteem, but self-worth. You value who you are, and not measure yourself by others or by your achievements. Understanding the value of yourself. Third, your self-concept. What do you mean by your self-concept? Who it is that you are supposed to be. You have valued yourself. You have defined yourself as a lawyer. You've defined yourself as an actor. You've defined yourself as a doctor. You've defined yourself as a teacher. You've defined yourself all by your achievements and your awards. But really, who are you? Who are you? But what happens if you don't meet other people's expectations? And they look at you differently. And then they start categorizing you. Well, aren't you this? Aren't you that? Aren't you this? Aren't you that? Why? Because you have failed their expectations for you. When you allowed them to label you, when you labeled yourself using their labels, you put yourself in an uncomfortable environment. So you have to understand the value of your self-esteem. You have to understand the value of your self-worth. You have to understand the value of your self-concept. The moment you understand that, you can understand your character and your integrity. You can become whole. You can become stable. You can become functional because you know who you are and you're not allowing yourself to be controlled by somebody else's philosophy, ideology, or their dogma of what you're supposed to be. So what I want you to do from now on, forget about your achievements, forget about your rewards, forget about your degrees, and get a list of paper and list down your characteristics. List down who you are. List down your values. List down who you like to be. You want to be more patient. You want to be more loving. You want to be more honest. You want to be more courageous. You want to be stronger. You gotta write it down. So before I go, I want to leave you with this motto. Repeat after me. Be the best you that you can be for you, because nobody can be you. Say that again. Be the best you that you can be for you, because nobody can be you. Thank you for spending time with me.